Hey, what's going on? But once again, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and fangirls, especially is the one and only, of course, Mr. Criticism Guy 2009, aka Nintendo Sony Free 2011, and of course Nintendo Anime Manga Guy 360. So without further ado, hopefully read the title up above and below, and yeah, let's begin. So Fleshpound here from the Killing Floor series from Tripwire Interactive and Unreal Tournament Entertainment. Pretty much the Tripwire team, obviously, you already know how they are, know how they roll. If you've ever played any co-op version of this game called Killing Floor, I actually got introduced to this back in December, right before 2011 of 2010, right around when the Christmas special was going on. That's how I got introduced to this. It was that and a really huge YouTuber that actually introduced this thing to me. I think at that time he had like 400,000 or 550,000 subs, and now he's got like, I think 2 million subscribers now. Most of you people probably know him as Seamus O'Dorothy or SSOH PKC. He's the reason why I actually started liking this game back when he had like 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers, before he hit almost 2 million. And anyways, he's obviously really big on the creatures. If any people don't know him, it's with that other Let's Players from Machinima Realm that I work with. You know, Sly Fox Hound, Kutra, Dan Rather News, Nova. A lot of people know who Nova is because, especially if you're a Minecraft fan, you know exactly who Nova is. I've never really been a Minecraft fan that much. It's mostly for the younger generation under me. Be like 17, 13 through like 18. And there's probably 20, 30 something year olds like me that probably like it, but for me, Minecraft just never did it for me. Sorry if you're a Minecraft fan, I never really gave a shit about that series. The only time I actually gave a shit about Minecraft, if I had something that I was into, like maybe something that they build or create something, because it's a building thing, you know, with the building mods and shit like that. If they build something like anime related, video game related, and be Pokemon My Little Pony related, then I'll probably like it for a little bit, but after a while I won't like Minecraft too much. I don't hate the series like I would with Halo or maybe Call of Duty or some shit like that. Those are the ones I fucking hate. I just don't really care too much for Minecraft. I don't hate the series, it's kind of boring for me. I'm sorry. If you're a Minecraft fan, I'm sorry if I offended you. Just don't tell me to go fuck off and die or eat a dick or eat shit or fucking kill yourself. Unless you little fucking bratty fucking teenagers out there. I know some of you are going to fucking do that, so unfortunately I'm probably going to have to disable the comments if you are going to do that, but if not, I'll leave them open. But if I see one comment, you're going to be trolling on my fucking channel, get the fuck out of here. I'm going to have to unfortunately disable it. That's what I really want to say. So without further ado, let's begin. So Fleshpound versus Tripwire Interactive's Fleshpound versus Killing Floor's Fleshpound versus of course one of Spider-Man's greatest foes next to Scorpion, maybe Doc Ock, maybe even Electro, even though Spider-Man, the movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is coming out this Saturday, or this Friday. We get a last in the U.S. for some reason. If any people live in the U.S. like me, sadly we get a last, but unless you saw it like a week or two earlier, if you got like pre-ordered tickets or whatever, you probably saw it earlier, or if you live out in Europe, you probably saw it 2 weeks earlier before we did. You lucky bastards. No offense to the Europeans, you guys are chill. As long as you're not racist, of course. But other than that, yeah, so it's Marvel's biggest enemy, which is Venom. Not really Marvel's as a whole biggest enemy, just the Spider-Man universe. Even though there's a whole Marvel universe, like the X-Men thing, the Avengers shit, etc. But yeah, just for Spider-Man, though. So, yeah, let's get this shit started. So, Venom versus this guy, the Fleshpound. The first one I'm going to go into is Intro, the Fleshpound. So, as far as I've known this franchise from December 2010 all the way up to now, which is 2014, so good 3.5, 4 years at the most. Probably 3.5 years. I had known this series franchise. It was a real old school version from 2004, from like 2000. It was called Unreal Tournament. I never really grew up playing that because I didn't really get into PC games and first-person shooters until like 2009 when I first started playing Bad Company 1 and 2 back in those days. I was finishing up my last 2 years of college at that time, and I was really, really into it at that time. I still love old-school platformer games, don't get me wrong. I'll still be a 90s kid at heart no matter what, even though I only remembered like 4 years out of that decade, which was I think 1996 to 1999, that was it. Because after that, I really don't, before that, I was way too little to remember, from like 1 through 6. I couldn't remember jack shit. I know a lot of little kids can remember from age 4. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. I didn't really start remembering shit till I was like 7, 8 years old. That's when I started remembering shit. Sadly, that's how it is. Oh well. But yeah, the thing is with the Fleshpound, obviously I'm going to give him his backstory origin. He's one of the strongest enemies in the Killing Floor games. I'm really hoping to actually make a Killing Floor 2, because when they did that thing last year with the Ouya, if any people don't know what the Ouya is, it's like old school arcade indie games that they put on there. I'm not really crazy about it, but it looks fairly good. It looks pretty damn good, you know, especially with the you know, with the old school arcade feels. It's great almost. The storyline part is great, just the gameplay for it is good. But I'm not going to get into the Ouya. I think I talked about that last year, I think December or earlier this year in January, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, another reason why this shit is really fucking good is that because, due to the fact that the Fleshpound, I'm going to give him his background story origin. There's another origin to it, but I completely forgot about it. I think it goes how when the mad scientist, which is obviously the boss, the patriarch, that you fight after you get through the 7 or 10 waves, depending on what server you're in. All the Killing Floor fans, you know about this? He made the Fleshpound extremely fucking angry and full of steroids and hatred towards humanity. He wanted to make the Fleshpounds like something that soldiers and like police officers and anything that has to do with forms of government, he wanted them to be very scared, very fearful of this thing, Fleshpound, as you're seeing. Or if you're watching Venom, I'm not sure which one you're watching. Let me just look really quick. Yeah, Venom, right, you're looking. I'm going to get into him in a minute. I'm just showing little slide screens of the guy, whatever. Yeah, so other than that, sorry, my ear itches for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, other than that, pretty much the Fleshpound, he wanted to make him really extremely evil, extremely cruel to humanity, and pretty much destroy everything in his path, pretty much. So he gave him these big giant like meat rotator arms that look like giant spike things straight out of a fucking Saw movie or some shit. Or Grindhouse fucking film from the 80s and 90s. That was from Quentin Tarantino, if any people don't know who he is. Fucking legend. But other than that, he's the one that made the Kill Bill series, and I think last year or the year before, Django Unchained. I know I did a movie review on that a while back. So yeah, there's that. And pretty much he made him big giant meat rotator arms, and every time his like rage meter goes up to red, he could pretty much destroy everything in his path, whether it be cars, trucks, fucking, I don't know, fucking bulldozers. Hell, he can even get through like bombs a couple times if you're one of the soldiers trying to get away with it. So there's that. His backstory, origin, I guess that's pretty much it. He was really evil, angry when he was a human, so when he became a zombie, he just came 10 times stronger than that. Pretty much he was a wrecking ball machine on fucking steroids with legs. Let's pretty much call it that. He was an atomic bomb waiting to fucking explode with zombie demonicness. That's what it was. Pretty much. That's how I could put it. Pretty much. So yeah, he's one of the strongest enemies next to, I think, the Brute and the Scrake that are in the game, because the Scrake is really dangerous, but not as deadly as a Fleshpound, because you could get away from the Scrake a little bit quicker as long as he doesn't charge. With the Fleshpound, when he charges, it's extremely hard and difficult to get away and survive with. And the only two ways I know that his weaknesses are, say, use a crossbow or use like a rocket thing or pipe bombs. That's pretty much the only thing you can kill with the Fleshpound. Anything else other than that, you can't kill him. Or that Zed electronic futuristic looking portal gun. Yeah, you could kill him with that too fast. So it's like the only 3 weapons I know you can kill him with. There's probably other ones that you can kill him with too, but it takes a lot more longer, and you probably die a lot faster depending on what character you are. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole origin story in the Fleshpound. So strengths and weaknesses, I already went through that shit. I guess obviously his strengths would be like him. He's able to charge very fast without stopping. If you piss him the fuck off, because when his meter in his like chest, I think it's in his belly or in his chest or whatever, when it turns red, you better get the fuck out of there and run your fucking ass the hell out of there, because you will die when you're playing this game. But obviously, if that doesn't happen, pretty much, if that doesn't happen, just get the fuck out of there. But if it doesn't happen, like I keep saying, if it's yellow, you don't have to worry about it because he's just walking. But eventually, if you get too close to him, he will rage and pretty much kill you with his meat rotators, as you can see. And there's old school versions of Fleshpound and new school ones, and then there's different versions of the DLC. If you play like the Halloween one, he turns into this big giant like Frankenstein Fleshpound. If you play the Christmas one, he turns into like the Nutcracker, the Nut Pounder, as they call him. I know it sounds real fucking perverted right now. There's that, and then if you play the summer version, he turns into this giant hillbilly thing from Hillbilly Horror, I think. That's what he turns in the summer version. I don't know why, he just does. And there's other versions of it too, the real old school version. If you get the beta versions for like DLC, you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, really, really good game. That's all I'm going to say about that. And let's get to his abilities. Obviously, his attack and attack. I'm not really going to get an attack, special defense. The only thing I will say is his speed and his special offensive attack. Offensively, this thing is a force to be reckoned with. Like I said, get the fuck out of there very fastly if he ends up attacking you in your team. If you're playing in a group of 6 people, if you're only playing by yourself, you can just worry about yourself. But if you're playing more than one person, you don't want to get them all pissed off, or they'll probably kick you out and you'll get banned from the fucking server. If any people are PC gamers, you know what I'm talking about. I know I wasn't really a PC gamer until late 2009, 2010, because I was always a console gamer. I always was. If you could see the thing in the background, I still got my very old school Game Boy Color and Super Nintendo that I've always kept with me. Even though I don't live with my family anymore, I kept it for memorabilia, you know, for the nostalgia factor, you know. Even though nowadays they probably sell $300-500 on eBay, which is crazy. It's funny, at Goodwill you can get them like $1 or $5, literally, with that or Sega Genesis, I don't know. Well, other than that, that's for another story video. But let's keep going with the Fleshpound. Offensively wise and speed wise, he's very dangerous. So that's the thing. He doesn't lack at all. He's very professional in killing the soldiers and shit in the game of Tripwire's Killing Floor. That's all I'm saying. And then the weapons and everything. The only 2 weapons I would really see the Fleshpound having, besides his speed, stamina, and his offensive basic maneuvers, is I would probably have to say that his meat rotators are pretty much the 2 things that are very deadly to the players. That and when he pushes you with his head, because he's got big giant spikes on his head, like sword spikes. So if you get hit by either of those 2 things, that's pretty much his weapons. His superpowers, I guess you could say super strength, because he's able to move trucks and cars and shit like that. So it's pretty much it there. And yeah, so let's go on to the other one. If hopefully they showed it, Venom. This motherfucker right here, Venom. Obviously, this thing's a lot more older. I think it was like 1982, 83 when he was introduced in the comics, a couple years before I was born, in like 89, way after. So pretty much Venom, he really doesn't need no introduction. The only time they actually showed him in the movies, which wasn't an animated series, was Spider-Man 3, the original one. The one that had like Tobey Maguire and Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man. And of course, unfortunately, I know a lot of people got pissed off when they saw this a couple years ago. Topher Grace, which he usually does a lot of romantic comedy films, so I was kind of a little weirded out when I saw him play Venom, because I thought it would have been maybe The Rock or Ben Diesel or even fucking Bruce Willis would have been better as fucking Venom and Topher Grace, you know. I was real disappointed when I saw that. I think it was 06, 07 when that came out, 2006, 2007. So I remember I was like a junior, senior in high school, and that was really huge at that time. Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, it was still kind of weird for me to see him play as Venom. I really wish it would have been one of those. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone would have been a better fucking Venom. Even though their speech impediment's kind of crap, but their lines, the way they put their, you know, the quirkiness and comedic shit, even though they do a lot of action-packed, macho man kind of movies and shit like that, you know, it's still fucking cool to see him like that, you know? That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting that shit the fuck out there, literally. But yeah, other than that, you know, Venom, let's get to his origins. So, he has a big giant origins. I've not really been a comic book fan, unfortunately, but I've been a really huge animation fan of the Spider-Man series. Not from like the 60s, 70s, 80s version. I didn't start getting to like the 90s when they showed Fox Kids Spider-Man. That's when I started getting into him, when they used to play you know, Spider-Man, he's the web ground there. If any people were 90s kids, you know what I'm talking about. Before that, 60s, 70s, 80s, I don't know about because I wasn't born. I didn't exist yet, obviously. But yeah, the 90s and maybe early 2000s Spider-Man was okay. But after like 03, 2004, the animation started getting really shitty at that time, unfortunately. Kind of sucked ass. And let me drink my water here. I forgot to tell you this video is brought by Purified Drinking Water. Good shit, good shit. I'm just going to see how much time I got so far. 14 minutes. Wow, I was thinking it'd be 20 minutes by now. But yeah, other than that, let's go into his origins. I'm probably going to fuck it up because I never really read any of the comics. I was more of an animation fanboy and a video game fanboy of Spider-Man and movie fanboy of it, more than I was a comic book fan, unfortunately. I tried to get into comic books, but unfortunately it didn't really appeal to me. I think DC, it kind of appealed to me a little bit more than Marvel. I don't know, I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. I still like Marvel comics. Don't get me wrong. And I know a lot of them are apps on tablets nowadays. A lot of them, they barely even sell a physical copy anymore, unfortunately, because of this digital age technology we're going through and shit. I'm just saying, putting it out there. But yeah, Venom. Obviously, originally I think he came from outer space. The symbiote. Venom is from like a symbiote, however you want to pronounce it. He's from an alien symbiote race. He came from Earth. And I know in the movie adaptation, they said something about him being from like a meteor. I'm not sure if he came from a meteor or not, but like in order for the symbiote to survive, he needs to like hold on to a host and drain all of its life energy as much as it can and feed off of its adrenaline and hatred. And that's why it ends up being really evil. And I remember in the Spider-Man movie, which was played by Tobey Maguire, and I remember Kirsten Dunst was still in that movie and shit. And of course Topher Grace. But other than that, let me tell you something. That fucker was huge. I mean, I like the animation for Venom in the movie. I still didn't like it that Topher Grace was still him. I wish it would have been a more beefier, more muscular kind of actor instead of a skinny little scrawny ass dude like Topher Grace. I mean, he's good in the romantic comedy shit. I liked him in that 70s show shit, which was really fucking awesome, which he was with Ashton Kutcher back in the late 90s, early 2000s when that came out. He was a funny ass dude there, Topher Grace. That's where he belonged. Not in Spider-Man. You know, not that I don't hate the dude. He's a funny ass actor. He's a good guy. He just wasn't right for this role. I'm just saying, you know. He was good in the Valentine's Day movie, too. It was a romantic comedy as well. He was a funny dude, you know. He knows how to put his jokes in line. He's a funny guy. It's just, he didn't do that great in this movie. I'm just saying, you know. Topher Grace, he just wasn't that great. I'm sorry. But other than that, another reason why it was cool, not him, Venom. I like the animation for him. I remember he actually, in another Origins part, after he came back from him trying to like feed on the host of whatever like human he gets involved in, and Spider-Man was the first human. There was like several others people that were infected with the symbiotic virus host or whatever that controlled them, but I'm not going to get into any of those 6. It's got into Spider-Man and Venom, and that's it. There's 6 other ones, but I'm not going to get into those, like I just said. But yeah, other than that, another reason why Venom was pretty much hardcore in his origins is that when he got into Eddie Brock's, when he made him his host, pretty much other than that, what happened was he wanted to feed off hatred because I think in the comic books he ended up getting cancer. He lost his ex-girlfriend wife to somebody, Gwen Stacy. I think Spider-Man started dating him instead. Spider-Man took everything from him and he hated him so much for it that he wanted him to die, and he wanted Peter Parker and Spider-Man to die for some reason. He had to get some cheap magazine job instead of working for the Daily Bugle in the comic book universe for J. Jonah Jameson, or JJ, I think that's what his name was, or Triple J, I don't know. But other than that, what happens is when the Spider-Man gets release of the host, because he was using it as his new costume, the Spider-Man evil symbiote costume. The 2 weaknesses, what I'm going to get to later on, is the bell, the sound waves, and the fire that the host really hates the most. I might have to do a part 2 in this video, just in case I get an interruption, a phone call, unfortunately. So there's that. After that, when he prays to God in the bells or whatever, when Spider-Man releases the symbiote suit, ends up falling in Topher Grace, and like in the movie, he goes like, "What the hell is this? What's going on over here?" And he has this big giant thing taking over his body. He's like, "Oh no, help me!" And he starts dying after that. And after that, what happens is, "Oh, this feels good. I like this." And after that, he becomes Venom, and he becomes a big giant evil symbiote monster, is what you see here, unless it's the Fleshpound. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna get to that fight in a minute. Other than that, let's go after his origins. What happens? You know, he becomes powerful and one's more seductive, which to women, I don't know. He becomes a more ladies' man, I guess. I don't know. And then what happens after that is even crazier. Is that I know Venom, he ends up fighting Spider-Man at the end of the movies, and that's pretty much it. Big giant clash happens, and he dies. Topher Grace almost dies, and Spider-Man lives, and that's pretty much it there. But other than that, what else? The origins part, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the origins of Venom and shit. I did play the PS1, PS2 versions of Spider-Man way back in the day. Really good ass old school games. I remember I had to fight Venom. He was hard as fuck. I had to do like 20, 30 fucking times until I kicked his fucking ass. Literally, he was that fucking tough, difficult. But yeah, I know he spawns a son named Carnage, but I'm not going to talk about him because he's a completely separate character compared to Venom. Even though he is his son, but still the same thing. Only thing I know about Carnage is that he came from like a serial killer that wanted to kill people and murder. And he was really into cannibalism and wanted to kill and eat people. It's fucking nasty, by the way. That's all I'm going to say about Carnage. He was cool in the video game. That's all I'll give him. That's all I'm going to say about him, though. This is all focusing on Venom and the Fleshpound right now. So yeah, Venom. Let's talk about his superpowers, or his defense and offenses. So I guess his superpowers, which would be the second or third thing I'm talking about. Obviously, he has super strength. He has a lot of the same powers as Spider-Man does. He does the web shooting thing, except the only difference is he uses it with venom and toxic laser things that he uses. And then other than that, he uses his tongue to try to hit Spider-Man. And because Spider-Man's his main enemy, he kicks his ass. He has super strength abilities. He could jump 10 times higher than Spider-Man. He can break through steel walls if he wants to. And the seventh thing I think he can do, he can heal himself very fastly. You know, very fast healing powers that he has as well. And that's pretty much the only things. And he uses his giant claws to slash Spider-Man. Tried to even break his neck a couple times in the comics, which he almost killed Spider-Man almost 7 times, I think, in the comics. Sorry for the comic fanboys if I got that wrong. Please don't kill me. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it there about Venom and his superpowers and all that. And his attack and offense, defense, I don't know about any of those things. Speed, I guess, is pretty fucking fast. I guess his defense, his special defense, is extremely shitty. He doesn't know how to protect himself unless he uses his arms to block shit. His attack and special attacks is very fucking off the charts. I already mentioned all the superpowers and attacks, so you can pretty much figure it out yourself there. And yeah, last but not least, weapons and superpowers. I already got into that with the mutant powers. He's obviously a mutant, just like with one of the X-Men, except he puts on a costume suit to make himself mutant. So in a way, Venom's kind of like Iron Man, except he's the bad guy version of Iron Man instead of the good guy. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Venom. So overall fight, the Fleshpound versus Venom. Here's the thing with the Fleshpound. I know the only thing they have even with each other with Venom and the Fleshpound is that they both have very fast speeds when they get pissed off and they rage. Because they both have really hot tempers. And they really get angry for even the littlest things. They'll get pissed the fuck off or anything, literally. And here's the thing. Legendary-wise and pretty much the oldest-wise and pretty much more popularity-wise, Venom would probably win in the popularity category and over the Fleshpound because it's been around since the 80s, and the Killing Floor has only been around. The old school version, Unreal Tournament, was around since 2004, and I think 2009 is when the reboot of the modern day Killing Floor came out. So 9, 10, 11, 12. It's about 6 years old, pretty much. And then the original one's like 12 years old. And with this right here, Spider-Man's been around since the 60s, and Venom's been around since 1983, so I'll make him about 33, 34 years old, I think. So he's a lot older than I am, obviously. Other than that, let's see who would win. The Fleshpound, the only thing that he would have to defend himself is pretty much, unfortunately, his meat rotators. But due to his clumsiness and his stupidity, of how he always wants to kill all humans, like he always says, you have to kill all humans. Let's do it. I'm going to kill you. And he always says that all the time. You know, his little quotes. You know, and then he says like, what's it called? Yes, fear me. That's what he says, you know? And after that, with his clumsiness and stupidity, the thing is with the Fleshpound, he doesn't have a lot going for him. Except he could try to throw like trucks and cars and boulders at the Venom or whatever. But thing is, Venom could probably deflect a lot of that shit. And pretty much one swoop of his giant-ass claws, even though the Fleshpound has the meat rotators to protect him, maybe something like this, boom! Something like that. In my head, it's playing like the Fleshpound could win in a way if he like uses, I don't know, bombs and shit like that on it. He'd probably win over Venom, but other than that, he's pretty much fucked. So Venom has like 7 to 8 different powers he can use over the Fleshpound. Not only does the Fleshpound is pretty much underpowered with by Venom's super strength, super jump, super slashing, super healing abilities, and the Fleshpound can't heal for shit, unfortunately. Fleshpound pretty much, unfortunately, he loses, sadly. So unfortunately, I got to give the victory to Venom. So Venom is the winner of this thing. That's all I got to say about that. Fleshpound, he tried his best, but I guess throwing cars and bombs and trucks and shit and boulders, it wasn't good enough. And his speed wasn't as good as Venom's speed. And he's able to go jump from city to city, right? No, jump from building to building using his Venom like webbing powers over the Fleshpound. He could pretty much strangle the Fleshpound with the one swipe, and the Fleshpound is dead. That's pretty much it. So victory goes to Venom, aka Eddie Brock. The villain wins here. So that's all I had to say about this video. So like I always do say, hopefully you enjoyed this shit. And like I always do say, of course, is what it is, ain't what it ain't. See you when I see you guys every day, every night, wherever you're at around the world. Don't drink, smoke weed at the same time. Don't say anything reckless. See you soon. See you around. Peace out, late. Goodbye. I'll talk to you guys soon, late. And I'm out of here. Deuces. And have a good day.